What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Feast, episode 52, the show where you submit replays and we cast them. How's it going, everybody? It's good to see y'all again, man. Thanks for the host, as always, Miss Clicker, or I guess the raid to be more accurate. I hope everybody's been doing well. I have been great myself. I can't complain. Got some good matches lined up for us tonight. I'm real excited to get into these. All right. I normally don't go on camera, but I gotta show off a little bit here. Make you guys jealous a little. Here we go. Are you ready? Boom! Oh, my microphone's in the way. Oh, that way. There we go. Yeah. Ordered this shirt a couple weeks ago, man. You can find one yourself online. I think there's a link in the big post about the community that Steam made. Oh, whoops. Probably need to bring my microphone back over here. Yeah, that Andy posted a big community thing, man. There's a link to those t-shirts if you're interested, man. I love it. It's really comfy too. So I enjoy it, man. Rocking some tooth and tail out in the wild. But yeah, not a whole lot to say tonight, guys. I think we're just gonna get right into it. It was a lot of fun streaming with Mishi last week. I might have him back on Thursday night. So yeah. Delthius has a face, says the gentleman. Yeah, move your mic back. Yeah, I know. I've done it when I would do rank streams back in the day. I would do a camera a little bit, but I don't know, man. I don't think the camera is necessary for this show. I'd rather give more prime time on the screen to what you guys are here for, not my ugly mug, but some awesome tooth and tail games. So I'm excited, guys, and without any further ado, I suppose we shall get into it. Match number 1 here. Let me know how the levels are, guys, and let's do it. Okay, spawning on the right, we've got Vincent. And his opponent to the left, Bratmo. I love this rain map, man. I really wish these kinds of maps would show up in ranked more often. I think these guys mainly just kind of play each other in custom matches, which is pretty cool to see because they're actually both pretty damn good. And, you know, if you are going to play custom matches, man, definitely cycle through all the, I guess, environment templates. I think there's a better word for that. Tile sets, I suppose, because there's some really cool ones, man, with the rain, with some, I think, snow. I'm not so sure if there's a snow map, per se, like where it's actually snowing. A lot of snow-covered maps, though, that definitely look really good. And here we go, man. Vincent's going to start some things off with a mole attack, but Bratmo sees it, so he should be able to respond okay. Nice turret placement there. And yeah, I mean, one mole is just to kind of force this reaction out of Bratmo here to kind of say, okay, you can't just go straight up to 8 farms. You know, you need to pivot a little bit. You need to build a turret, you know, sell some things off, or maybe a mole yourself. So, all right, so looking at this map here, I mean, it looks good for Vincent, but it doesn't look terrible for Bratmo. You know, I actually kind of like Bratmo's position maybe a bit better, because Bratmo can kind of just contain this side of the map, right? And take, you know, get up to 4 bases, where Vincent also has 4 bases, but I feel like he's going to have to stretch out a little further. Like, I feel like this base right here would be pretty difficult to take, you know? Vincent's actually starting out straight up to tier 2, no tier 1, and Bratmo floating a little bit of money here. I wonder if he's trying to find a spot to hide a fox. Let's see what he decides to do. Nope, decides to go for the ferret instead, so nothing super crazy. I mean, little weird tier 2 timings here, but overall, I don't think it's gonna make the biggest deal in the world. Now, Bratmo does have a little window here, you know, where he can come in and kind of strike before these snakes are out and have a superior squirrel army count, but it doesn't look like he's going to take advantage of that. He's going to see the tier 2 over here, but he doesn't, you know, react to that or anything. Hey, what's the deal? I heard Mishi talking about a patch coming in where you can actually see your opponent's tier 3. Is that still underway? Oh, gentlemen saying Owl is going to be really good this game. Okay. Yeah, I love the concept of Fox Owl, man. I mean, it's hard to fit 2 tier 3s into your deck, but if you can get away with it, Fox Owl is definitely a cool way to go, because you have that Fox to, you know, kind of deal early to mid-game, and then you have that, you know, transition over to Owls later on for that late game, you know, heavy Owl composition. You know, you get up to like 3 or 4 Owls, man, it's real rough. So Vincent here, I think he's a bit scared and gonna build some defensive moles. Now, it is worth pointing out that Vincent does have this campfire here, so that's gonna give him a nice advantage. But Bratmo has already taken his second base, as has Vincent. But neither player throwing down farms until just now. Vincent's throwing down a couple. Bratmo seems really defensive here. He's setting up a lot of turrets. And I think the move from here, if you're Bratmo, is maybe... I would just go super, super hard on this second base, man. Like, behind all those turrets, you know, I'd probably even sell off a Squirrel Warren just to put that extra money into some farms. Because, you know, you make this big investment into all these turrets early on, you really need to start getting that economy going to really warrant that. And yeah, he's taking 3 farms, but, you know, Vincent's got 2 farms and a campfire on his expansion, so... And Vincent's kind of scratching his head, like, what is going on here? Lots of turrets. He's probably afraid of a tier 3 rush or something, but Vincent's actually the one who threw down the wolf. And that wolf is going to be out here shortly. So I wonder if he's going to attack with that, or maybe just kind of throw that over by his pigs to farm a little bit faster. Now the tier 3 is coming out here for Bratmo. Actually skips the fox and is going to go straight to the owls. So I think his plan is to kind of hunker down behind these turrets, kind of dissuade Vincent from attacking again with all these defenses, right? And then macro up, you know, build a bunch of owls and try to move out then. Uh-oh. Okay, my game froze for a minute there, but it looks like we're good. Yeah, I love this play out of Vincent, man. He sees his opponent has really invested into a lot of defense. Maybe he assumes, I'm not so sure when the last time he scouted his opponent's farm count, but he probably assumes, you know, Bratmo's going pretty hard on that second base, so why not just macro up, man? You know, that 4 turrets, so what is that? 240 food that Bratmo invested there. You know, Vincent doesn't have to invest, and instead can go straight for army, straight for eco. And yeah, this wolf is just sitting over here, man, really accelerating the mining time. Now he's going to transition that wolf over to these other pigs over here to gain more value, as we have just passed the 5-minute marks, and those 4 initial farms have indeed mined out. And Bratmo's up to owl number 2. I really think, you know, 3 is the magic number, man. If Bratmo can buy some more time, but I'm worried about these economies here, man. I feel like Bratmo really needed to you know, go super hard on that second base after throwing down all those turrets. Or I probably would have done it before the turrets, to be honest. I feel like if you're going to go this route, you know, get that second base, saturate it up super, super hard, and then throw down a couple turrets. Because turrets build really, really quickly, you know. So let's see. Owl number 1 out on the board. And we're getting into a really big macro game here. And I think Vincent is really playing this perfectly, man. You know, just look at how many farms he's up to. Second base, third base, fully saturated. So this is going to be good. So many ferrets out on the board, too, man. Going up to 10 ferrets here is Vincent. And I'm not so sure if he's scouted the owl yet. I haven't been paying super close attention. But he's going to know here shortly. Man, that is so many ferrets. Going up to 14. He's definitely got the economy to finance this. And with the wolf buff, man, you know, buffing the snakes, buffing the ferrets, this could actually work very, very well here for Vincent. Okay, alright, we're still building up here. Owl number 3 has been placed down, but it's not out on the board just yet. Look at this, man. 22. Oh, 24. Tier 2 coming out for Vincent here, man. No tier 1 at all. He sold those off a little while ago, transitioned over to pigeons. And I feel like he's going to maybe move out here shortly. Oh, man. Yeah, keep building those ferrets, man. I would love to see that actually get up to 18 ferrets. That would be totally sick. Gonna get that campfire for free. Now, Vincent knows what's going on with all these mice. I'm not so sure if ferrets are the best answer, but I guess when you have this many ferrets, right, like those, that just shelling, you know, it's gonna hit some of those targets. Oh, man. Here he comes. Look at all these ferrets, man. A lot of them here with that whoop buff. Actually, no, only a couple of them got the whoop buff, but the big engagement coming in. And Vincent's not going to stop anytime soon, man. I think he's just going to try to run right through here. That whoop goes down, though. Nice target fire there from Bratmo. God, that is so many ferrets, dude. But a lot of them are kind of overkilling on these Trick League mice that are coming out, but I think that he's just got too much. I mean, look at this army here. That is absolutely insane. from Vincent. Really cool to see, man. Just like super macroed up, really, really hard. He kind of scouted out his opponent, realized, all right, man, he's not going to come in and harass me or anything like that. So I've got a nice, chance to get in there, macro up super, super hard, get out a ton of ferrets, and just shell my opponent to death. I mean, look at this. That Grismel's going to die in a matter of seconds. Now Bratmo's starving. He's only got a few units left, and I think this is just too much, man. Really cool to see. It's been a long time since I've seen this many ferrets in a single game. I mean, both sides. Bratmo had a lot of ferrets earlier on. He sold a couple of them off, or maybe the turret, the Warrens died. But Vincent gonna come in, target down the last Gristmill, take the match. That was pretty cool. Okay, guys, let's keep it going. Match number 2 here. I tried to get a Mistclicker game in pretty early because I know he's coming in with the raid with a lot of his fans. So we're gonna hop into a Mistclicker match right now. Let's do it. Okay, spawning in the bottom left, we've got the Red Dinosaur. And his opponent to the top right, Mistclicker. Okay. Interesting compositions from both players here. Squirrel Toad, man, by Red Dino might really shut down Mistclicker, though. He's only running lizards. And the Toads are definitely going to hard counter those lizards. Now, the lizards could still be used in, like, these niche situations. Try to run around, do base trade shenanigans. But in a straight-up fight, man, those lizards are really not going to do much. But he's got skunks to try to deal with those toads and squirrels. So I don't know, man. Pretty neat setup we got going on here. I kind of favor Red Dino's deck, but let's see, man. I mean, snakes are great units. I'm not so sure, but the 5-farm double coming out here for Mistclicker, and Red Dino hasn't actually seen the Warrens per se, but he's got to know something's up. Yeah, look at this. He's already got a turret here, probably from his first scout. So I think he might be okay. Now, as far as runaround paths, Liquor could maybe come down here and come this direction. Red Dino's kind of scouting that out now. But I feel like that turret, the defender's advantage, should be enough. Yeah, look at this. Red Dino's going to catch those lizards red-handed. Try to come in for a big swing attack. And I think Red Dino's okay. Maybe Mist gets a farm here. Yeah, he's going to get the farm. But he shouldn't really get too much more damage done. Yeah, trade, Red Dino takes out 2 lizards there, loses 1 squirrel, and loses the farm. So overall, I guess that's a successful attack for Liquor there. He did force the turret out of Red Dino, but Liquor really needs to get his economy going after this, I feel like. He builds the turret because maybe he's a bit worried. These guys really showing each other a lot of respect, man. A lot of turrets coming down just as a defensive precaution, but I feel like Red Dino's in a better spot here simply because he's just got to his 8 farm already and Liquor hasn't yet. This is always recommended play. I mean, this map is really rough for Liquor. I think I need to point that out because, this high ground outside of his base is really, really abusable by Red Dino, and there's not a whole lot of ways for Liquor to get up there. Looking at this map, it looks like he can run this way around, and that's really it. This is blocked off right here, yeah. So I like that idea of building those Warrens up there, kind of preempting that. Here we go. Liquor's going to come in again and try to get something done, but decent turret coverage here. He's going to get a farm. He's going to lose a lot of lizards for it, though, and backs out for now. I believe Liquor should have seen those toads there now, though, so he's not going to be happy about that, man. If you're running just lizards, you're kind of taking that risk, in your tier 1. You don't really count pigeons or moles. You're really talking about, like, squirrel, lizard, toads. If you're only going to run lizards, you're definitely running a risk there. Because if your opponent does indeed have those toads, it's going to be very difficult for you to get anything done. But let's see. So far, so good on this defense. I'm interested to see how Liquor is going to transition out of this. The toad goes off, gets a little bit of damage done, but nothing super crazy. Yeah, Liquor's going to go into the skunks. That makes sense. And he's probably going to stay on these 9 toads and not build 9 lizards, I'm sorry, not build anymore. I think that's the move to make. Like, you got to have some tier 1, And just a handful of lizards like this can be super annoying. If your micro's on point, you can use them to kind of run around and maybe try to delay the game. Keep Red Dino, worried to ever really leave his base. Nice little campfire pickup there, but Red Dino actually took this gristmill up top. I didn't even notice that. This gristmill should get denied here. I think these lizards should be able to get that kill before the forces come. Barely gets it done, but he's gonna give away. If Red Dino chases, yeah, he's gonna see the campfire. Nice job from Liquor selling that off. That's definitely the right move, because, you know, Red Dino's forces would have just went in there and knocked out that campfire anyways. And it looks like Red Dino is going to take this expansion again. I wonder why he took this 12 o'clock base. Maybe he was thinking about... He probably took it on that initial move out with the Squirrel Toad and was taking it, you know, to heal up, maybe throw down a couple turrets, and then he decided, all right, this isn't the best move to make, and backs off for now. So Liquor is getting ready to try to hold this down. But really, I mean, if Red Dino just throws down a couple ferrets, man, you know, Liquor's not going to be able to hide behind these turrets anymore. Yeah, goes to the chat saying Liz boys are fun in the early game. Dude, they really are, man. I feel like Squirrel Lizard is a really great composition. It's kind of interesting, though. Gentleman kind of broke it down to me one day and was explaining kind of why squirrels are actually better, like in the super early game. You know, I think if you're going to go for that Squirrel Lizard comp, you get maybe like 6 squirrels to 9 squirrels, and then throw in like 6 to 9 lizards, and maybe move out around that time, you know? Liquor's actually not afraid of these toads, though. He's gone up to a ton of lizards here. And I'm surprised that Red Dino hasn't built more toads. You know, he's just sitting on the 3, which 3 is all you need, really. But I would love to see him go up to 6, man. And, you know, especially seeing this, you know, seeing that there's still all these lizards here on the map. Like, yeah, Red Dino couldn't actually move his commander over there to see that, per se. But he should know that happened. Is the game music too low? I feel like it's too low. I feel like we do a little more music. Let me know if that's overbearing. Alright, now Liquor's gonna take that base and expand up, but Red Dino's way ahead of him on this second base here. And we're at the 6-minute mark, so that first base is almost mined out. Yeah, gentleman pointing out that the pathways here are really awkward. I agree 100%, but, you know, this isn't too bad. If Red Dino really kind of tried to plant his feet out here with a big attack, you know, maybe with some ferrets, takes this gristmill to help heal up, you know, maybe plant down a turret or two if he can get away with it, that wouldn't be too bad. But, yeah, trying to come in here. But at the same time, if Red Dino does strike right here, I mean, what do you do if you're Liquor? Like, Liquor's not going to get over there in time, right? And he's going to lose all those warrens. So, I don't know. It's rough, man. This is a really weird map, to be honest. And it's actually, you know, as weird as this high ground situation is, the longer this game goes, the better this map gets for Liquor, because Red Dino really doesn't have expanding options after this, unless he gets super aggressive and tries to, you know, maybe grab this base. But if Red Dino could grab that base, he's probably already won the game at that point, I feel like. All right, let's see it, man. Both players have big armies here. We kind of saw this last game where we kind of hung out for a little while, got to some big armies, and then moved out. Yeah, now Red Dino's got 6 toads. I think that's the move to make. And the ferrets are coming out. Yeah, now Red Dino can really get in here and poke and prod with these ferrets. But I'm worried, man. If Miss Liquor, I mean, what else is Liquor going to do? You know, right when he sees this, Liquor's got to come in and swing this way and counterattack, right? And I think Liquor might actually win this base race. Yeah, that's definitely the move to make. Like, that's not even cheesy or anything like that. I mean, what other option does Liquor really have here? He's not going to be able to get in any kind of good position. If he tried to funnel his units through here, he'd absolutely get decimated trying to move in. Red Dino takes out a lot of important infrastructure there for Liquor, but he's out of position for this big counterattack, and all Liquor's got to do is target fire this down. There's no campfire there for Red Dino. And those turrets are not quite in range. I think Liquor's going to take the match, and indeed he does. Well played by both sides, man. Definitely an awkward map, and that's one of the cool things I like about this game is, you know, sometimes the maps just really force you to try to scratch your head and figure something out. I need to let my cat inside. 1 second, guys. little sip of my tasty beverage here. Ah, delicious. Okay. Let's keep things moving, guys. I'd actually kind of like to get through these games pretty quickly tonight if I can. Kind of keep the chatter in between to the minimum and maybe hop on the ladder afterwards. I think that sounds like fun. Okay. Let's go do it, guys. Match number 3. I hope the quality is good. I believe so. If it wasn't, you lovely nerds in chat would let me know. So good to see everybody again, man. It's always a pleasure. Let's get into it, guys. Okay, in the bottom, we've got Blackmore Crest. And his opponent to the top right, Amistria. Amistria rocking the barbed wire, man. That's really cool to see. I like that a lot. I feel like barbed wire is underutilized. I mean, we've seen guys like the gentleman use barbed wire, do some like cheeky tanking plays just because it's so cheap and you can kind of throw it up right where the fight's happening if it's in your territory. But also, you know, lizards are still part of the meta. I mean, lizards will probably always be part of the meta, you know. And barbed wire is just a pretty straightforward hard counter to that, you know? I mean, imagine if Amistria just kind of... You know, it's too bad Blackmore doesn't have lizards here, because this wouldn't... I mean, if Amistria, if she wanted, you know, let's say she's going for a tier 3 rush or something, could just place down just a few pieces, like one piece right there. You know, a couple pieces right there, and she'd be all good. That's a nice pocket base here for Amistria as well, but on Blackmore Crest sides of things, both players look like open up maybe 6 or 7 farm Warren, but Blackmore Crest here doesn't have very good expansion options to him, and that's kind of my fine line. You know, people complain about map balance, and, you know, I always say, like, you'd be surprised. Like, most maps, I've seen it so many times where a map like this, Blackmore Crest ends up winning, but my firm stance is, like, as long as you've got a reasonable second base to expand to, you should be okay, you know? A lot of games really just come down to that 2 base play anyway, sometimes a 3rd base. But this is going to be tough for Blackmore Crest here, and he needs to play to the map, you know? Like, if you get a spawn like this, I feel like the move to make is a 1 base all in. You know, maybe rush that Badger. Like, this wouldn't have been a bad map for Blackmore to try to rush up to that Badger, right? Because just this one entrance, he's on the high ground, things of that nature, and just try to move out with a big push before this really gets to a macro game. Now, the other option here, which is what looks like Blackmore Crest is flirting with, is trying to secure this side of the map, which is good, but it's going to be hard because Amistria's got those lizards. Yeah, like stuff like that, man. Like, I just love it. That one piece of barbed wire there, just a lot of value, but Blackmore gets in and he sees the scout. He knows a tier 3 is coming. He doesn't know which tier 3, right? Like, I don't think that's been patched into the game. And look at this. Amistria taking some plays out of the gentleman book here and selling that off, giving Blackmore some false information. And she's going to pivot into just a ton of lizards. So Blackmore Crest might feel like he's safe. And this is very important that he gets this follow-up scout. Oh, but he doesn't actually go into the main. He was mainly just trying to get a scout, a read on the army composition, you know, check and see if Amistria had taken this base. So he's going to actually come in and do a timing attack here before the tier 3 is done, and he's not going to be happy when he sees all these lizards. I feel like Amistria hesitated there, man. She could have came in. As you can see, these lizards just dominated that force, and yeah, I mean, she wins the fight very handily there, but she could have won even more if she didn't hesitate. But no harm, no foul. Now she's going to push the attack. I don't know if she's got enough to actually break Blackmore Crest here and end the game outright. But she's going to get maybe a Warren, yeah. That's a big deal, but she's got to pull back. Great victory there for Amistria, for sure. Even sells off that piece of barbed wire, kind of realized it. I feel like that was like, you know, I'm the aggressor in this game kind of play. So I don't need defenses anymore. And yeah, one piece of barbed wire is only 20 food, so not the biggest deal in the world. But imagine that was like a turret or a balloon or something. I definitely think, you know, when you're the aggressor, you know, sell off that defense, because Blackmore Crest is on the back foot at this point. Amicia, now that's exactly what Blackmore Crest needed there. I mean, she came in, she got a Warren, but overall, traded very ineffectively, and that kind of puts Blackmore in a position where he might try to get something done here. Yeah, as you can see on the army value graphs, like, that attack was not good for Amicia at all. And that happens, man. It's really weird in Tooth and Tail compared to other RTS games, because, you know, you can win, like, a big engagement, but it's so easy to overextend in this game. And it's hard to tell. Like, Amicia was just trying to win right there, and she just underestimated that Blackmore Crest had enough. But, you know, I feel like the big reason is Blackmore Crest hasn't been playing greedy. Like, he's just now taking a second base. He hasn't taken any tier 2 or tier 3, so he's just financing tier 1 here. And squirrels on the defense, man, are fantastic. Another great hold there from Blackmore Crest. And that really helps put him in this game, man. And now he's got the second base up. Amicia does not at this point. And yeah, he's going to go over and sneak down a farm. I love just maybe a second farm, you know. 1 or 2 is fine, but don't go crazy yet. And Amicia hasn't even got the chance to scout that side of the map, so. But she's got to figure at this point, man. We're at the 5-minute, 30-second mark, you know. You got to be expanding at this point. Yeah, it looks like Amicia is going to do just that, take her own base, but it's this nice, safe pocket base, and if Amicia actually gets around to scouting this, man, it's going to be really easy for her to harass that side of the map with their lizards. You know, run in, snipe a pig or two, run out before Blackmore Crest forces get there, you know. Crest here, what he's really got to do is try to get this high ground. You know, if he can plant his units up here, then he can prevent Amicia from doing these, like, run-around style attacks. And look at this lake in the middle. But Blackmore Crest starts moving his units out right when he sees Amicia scouts his opponent's scouts his base. And let's see, I feel like the Lizards should win this fight. Yeah. Lizards are very, very good against squirrels in big open fields like that. And from there, Amicia is going to take the win. Pretty cool game, man. Wait, what is that link in the chat? Somebody got banned? I don't know. Ha! That's hilarious. That butt on stream, huh? Who got banned? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe that's an irrelevant chat piece. Okay, guys. Match number 4. Let's get into it. Okay, spawning in the bottom left, we've got Big Pimpintosh. And his opponent to the top right, Tuchu. Pretty cool map. You know, both players get a second base, but... Well, Tosh has kinda got this southern base. Don't click that, it's got malware on it. Nice. Alright, thanks for the ban, man. Yeah, do not click that link, guys. Yeah. Poor Delthius is so naive, right? I know. I was counting on my mods, guys. But anyways, looks like the dude got banned, so well done, well done. So let's take a look at this map. In the top, Tosh kind of scouting that out, but nothing crazy yet. So far, so good this game, man. Nothing super weird or interesting really to point out yet. Duchu is gonna come in and try to get some harassment done with these squirrels here. And yeah, I mean, from here we're gonna progress to the early to mid game. No expansions coming out yet. 9 squirrels out of Duchu is a little more than standard. Typically, you see guys go for 6 squirrels and then, you know, go for a tier 2 or something. So Duchu looks like he wants to put on a lot of aggression here. But Tosh is going to come in and try to target fire down. Good target fire coming down from both these players here. And yeah, Duchu's going to defend that just fine. Overall, I guess that was good for Duchu. I mean, I think they traded kind of evenly, but Duchu started getting the upper hand, you know, with that defender's advantage near the end. So lots and lots of tier 1 this game. You know, both players have some pretty decent expansion opportunities. You know, Tosh took this campfire here, which is actually a pretty big deal, and he's going to take another one as well. Duchu thinking about taking expansion. Yes, he does. And he's going to position his squirrels. If he can secure this high ground outside of Pimpin' Tosh's base, it's going to be really difficult for him to get anything done, especially because Duchu's got these balloons. Now, granted, with so much tier 1, balloons aren't really the defensive structure you're looking for, but, you know, you start getting up 2, 3, 4 balloons on this high ground, and you can really contain Tosh to this side of the map, but that's actually not the end of the world for him because he's got a gristmill here. He's got a couple campfires over here. He's got this gristmill down here. All right, Duchu coming in. He's keeping the pressure on here. Tosh trying to transition to some chameleons. I think that's a good play as long as he can get away with it. Chameleons are just fantastic, I feel like, in these big tier 1 armies. You know, they just tank so much. They deal really good damage. If your micro's on point, you can try to re-stealth them, you know, before they die. And yeah, first balloon coming down from Duchu. That's actually pretty conservative balloon placement there. I think that's correct, though. If it was me, I'd try to build it, like, right on the edge, and then it would probably get denied. So, you know, what he's going to do is get that first balloon up, and then start leapfrogging balloons closer and closer to Tosh's base. Yeah, I'd imagine this balloon is just there, you know, to start things off. I feel like Duchu is going to place a couple more balloons on the edge of his territory and sell that one off eventually. But this makes it difficult for Tosh to even come in here. But Tosh should recognize that Duchu is starting to macro up on the second base. I feel like he got the scout off on those pigs. So if I'm Tosh here, I'm throwing down a couple farms on my second base, trying to stay toe-to-toe with my opponent's economy. But we're at the 4-minute 30-second mark here. Both players going for their tier 3 of choice. It's going to be Badger versus Wolf. And man, Duchu's just being really cautious with these balloons, man. But 2 balloons is going to make it really hard for Tosh to come in and attack into that. But this isn't really a proper contain, you know. Pimpin' Tosh can wait till he's got his army composition out and just walk this way and get to the soft underbelly of Duchu, you know, and just start wrecking face. So let's see it, man. I might actually do a little fast forwarding here while we're gearing up. I don't feel like anything too crazy is going to happen until these tier 3s are out on the board. Now, actually, what I do want to check for is if both players... So Duchu is not aware of the tier 3, and Tosh is. Okay. And Duchu also just scouted that second base from Tosh. Got a read on how many farms he's taken, and he's going to go really hard on a lot of farms here. This could be really bad for him if Tosh just kind of simply walks around this position, right, with his Badger. He's already starting to get a good, nice, healthy pigeon flock up. So, I don't know, man. I feel like Tosh isn't in a super bad spot. I mean, he's got these 3 campfires, and he can walk around this position of his opponent. He doesn't have to engage into these balloons. The Badger's out now, so let's see if he moves out. I feel like what Duchu really needs to do is get these balloons, like, right up on the edge of the territory, man. Because then Tosh wouldn't be able to easily sneak out. He'd have to sneak out through this lake, and that'd take forever, and Duchu might be able to scout him doing so. All right, now Tosh is going hard on that second base. 6 minutes, 30 seconds into the game, guys. I'm going to do a little fast forwarding here while we wait for something big to happen. This is rough. You know, we've seen this basically all night tonight. Like, really building up to these big armies instead of a lot of engagements. And yeah, this is what I was worried about for Duchu. Like, Tosh can just walk around, but Duchu's gonna notice that and come in and counterattack, so we might just be in a base trade situation. Tosh realizes this, goes ahead and places down a gristmill. But Duchu's gonna turn around and try to engage this army. It's gonna come down to this Badger Micro. It's at half HP, he's gotta be careful with it. He's gotta try to balance, like, keeping it at high HP and tanking a little bit of damage with it and keeping it revved up. But so far so good for Tosh. And he's actually getting into dealing some really good damage against Duchu here. Like, that's a lot of Warrens, man. That's a pretty big deal. But if this Badger goes down, which it, oh my god, 1 HP, there it goes. That's exactly what Duchu needed to stay in this game. Now he's gonna come in with a big counter push, and Tosh should just sell that Badger Warren off. No, he's gonna keep it. He's gonna try to refinance it by selling off his other tier 3. He really wants this Badger. And Duchu's still got his tier 3, so that's pretty important. All right, let's see it. Duchu, are you gonna come in, man? He just wants to poke and prod. Not commit to a really hard engage or anything at this point. When are we gonna see some third bases here? It's almost that time. We're at 8 minutes, 30 seconds at the moment. Yeah, Tosh has got this bottom base. He's gonna throw a couple pigs down on. Get that bacon flowing. Yeah, now these bases for Duchu here are gonna start, these farms rather, are gonna start mining off on this second base. And Duchu moving in for a big push. Let's see if he's got enough. A lot of Falcons here, but not a whole lot left on that front line, so he backs out for now. When Tosh came in for that attack, like, he did a ton of damage to the infrastructure of Duchu. Like, he really just doesn't have that many Warrens at this point. All right, Badger number 2 is here for Tosh. Duchu's selling off a couple of those balloons to try to refinance more and more Falcons at this point. That's really the composition, man. You know, he wants to really rely on this Wolf Falcon to get some stuff done. Nice job just moving his squirrels over, taking that out, no big deal. Finally, he's able to afford a few more Squirrel Warrens here, but he really needs to start thinking about, okay, I'm sorry, he does have this third base up top, so. But Tosh, man, went super hard on his third base down south. And since he took his second base a little later, you know, the second base is still cooking pretty hard here for Big Pimp Tosh. And meanwhile, Duchu's is a little bit on its way out. One farm is already mined out. A couple more are on their way shortly. Man, that squirrel with 5 pigeons healing it actually lived to tell the tale after that Falcon harassment. All right, 10 minutes in, guys. Let's do a little fast forwarding while these guys... All right, here we go. Duchu gonna try to move out and harass with the Falcons, but unsuccessfully. Tosh actually takes out a Falcon there, pretty big deal. And Duchu's economy is just not on par with Tosh's at this point. I'm not so sure if Duchu... Yeah, he hasn't scouted that south base, so he isn't aware that Tosh has basically got a full saturated base down here. Really helping to finance maybe perhaps a superior army, but 15 squirrels, 8 Falcons, and a wolf is nothing to bat an eye on. And here we go. Tosh is actually not home. His commander was elsewhere while this fight happened. And man, what a great engagement there for Duchu. Just really shows you the importance of micro, man. If Tosh was at home, like, that would have been a lot more even of a fight. I'm not so sure who would have came out on top. Maybe Duchu still would have, but Duchu just pounced, you know, when Tosh's commander was out of position. Did a ton of damage there, killed that Badger. And now Tosh is gonna try to, you know, build another Badger here, but I don't know if he's gonna have the time. Duchu's moving in, but actually nice hold there. Those Chameleons up front did a great job tanking. And this might just come down to economics at this point. Like, Tosh has just got such a better economy. You know, Duchu, you know, railed him in that last fight, but it's just not enough, you know. 10 farms of 4, man. All right, Duchu trying to seal the deal, but I think Tosh might have enough to hold here. He actually bought himself enough time to get out a third Badger. You know, I bet Duchu's gonna come down here, scout this base, and maybe just tap out. Now, he doesn't immediately quit, but now he knows I bet he had to be scratching his head. He's like, what's going on, man? I just took a couple pretty good engagements, and I'm still behind. Now he knows why. And he's going to play a little bit defensive here. But these Warrens are not protected by that balloon cover. All right, Tosh coming in again. Just trying to be careful. You know, it's really difficult in this phase of the game because Tosh isn't 100%. Like, did he scout? No, okay, he knows what's up. He knows Duchu's got a third. That's actually, I think he scouted that when Duchu pounced in on him because his commander wasn't there. So he knows Duchu's on a 3-base economy, but he's not quite sure if Duchu really saturated up that third base. So he's not sure how strong Duchu's income is, and that's why he's kind of hesitating here a little bit. And, you know, Duchu's really been keeping up very well, you know, in army value throughout the game. You know, granted, the graph lies a little bit since it counts defensive structures and whatnot, but I think Tosh has got enough here, man. He just wants to make sure he doesn't mess this up and lose another Badger. Badger coming in, gets the rev up, and now it's going to start doing some real damage here. Needs to be careful not to lose that rev up. And just going to obliterate Duchu's army with that Badger. Good job keeping that third Badger alive and keeping it revved up. Duchu's got to tap out, and Tosh takes the match. Okay, let's move on to the next match. We have a 2v2 afoot. Woo! Alright, I should probably slow down on that scotch, man. We don't need drunk Delthius here. Yeah, we're trying to eat a little healthier, man. Quit drinking beer, because they're just, I mean, beer is just so many calories, dude. If you're trying to, like, get in shape, you know, lose a couple pounds, you just cannot drink beer. It's insane. So moved over a little bit of hard stuff tonight. But anyways, guys, match number 5. Let's get into it. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Slicer and Calbane against their opponents in the top right, Kerpa and Premium Bow. Kerpa and Premium Bow are pretty well-known players. I don't think I've ever seen Slicer or Calbane, though. Doesn't necessarily mean they're new, but I just haven't seen a replay with them or seen them around or anything like that. Man, I gotta get back into playing 2v2s. Like, when I first got the game, you know, back in September, me and my buddies would play couch co-op 2v2, and dude, that was so much fun, man. Like, my buddy would come over. He's not, like, the best at the game or anything, but he was keeping up, and we were just having a great time wrecking some nerds in 2v2, man. But let's see it. You know, nothing super crazy this game so far. Premium's got the Fox, Kerpa's got the Wolf, Slicer's got the Owl, and so does Calbane. So Slicer and Owl could, you know, really come in here, and if this game goes too long, man, they might just get an insane amount of Owls here. If both players kind of finance 2 or 3 and combine them together. And overall, if I'm green and blue, I don't really want to take this game to the late game here. You know, Premium Bow and Kerpa only have a couple, you know, they've got that give me base, as I was talking about earlier. You know, you got to at least have that second base expansion. So they both got that, but other than that, the rest of the gristmills are on red and yellow side of the map. Premium Bow trying to get some damage done in here. Looks like he got a farm. Not too bad. Gonna back out for now before he overextends, and let's see where the game goes from here. I mean, this is what's kind of interesting about Tooth and Tail's random map, RNG, I guess you could say. Like, you know, blue and green really have to pivot. You know, they got to realize, okay, man, we can't let this game go on for too long. You know, based on our deck composition a little bit, and also based on just the gristmills on the map. You know, again, they're both only going to get their second base and maybe a campfire each. Premium Bow going straight up to a Fox, by the way. I love it. As long as Kerpa, you know, keeps cranking out these tier 1, and it looks like he's going to kind of keep Premium Bow safe, this could be big. But Slicer, if he comes in here and gets his tier 3 Warren, I don't think he's aware of it. Oh, he sees it, man. He gets a lot of damage under Premium Bow anyways. But dude, if that was me, I would have went right for that tier 3 Warren, I feel like. Maybe that's not the right move, because look how much damage Slicer got done there, man. 4 kills on the farms, and a turret. It doesn't matter that he lost basically all his lizards there. I'd definitely be happy with that if I'm Slicer, but Premium Bow, man, you can never count this guy out in a 2v2. They're gonna deny this campfire, no problem. A little bit of overkill there by Kerbo with the moles. So yeah, he's gonna realize that and sell those off probably. Or actually, he's gonna keep him alive for now. But Slicer, realizes like, okay, I just did a ton of damage. Premium Bow really doesn't have anything at this point. Since he's going for that tier 3, he's gonna come in for another lizard attack. But I don't think this one's gonna be as successful, as Kerpa's got plenty of squirrels to help defend his teammate here. And oh my god, I looked away for a second. I think Premium Bow sold that tier 3, right? Oh, why did I tried to look at the chat for like a split second, man. I missed it. Did it die? Okay, the chat looks like it died. So that's crazy, man. Good job there from Slicer. Now what do you do if you're Premium Bow, man? He's got 400 food, but he doesn't have moles. He sold it, everybody's saying. Okay, thank you. But still, that is super rough, because that fox was almost out. But at least Premium Bow does get the refund there. And Kerpa's going to try to come in and blast down Calbane here, and does a good job so far, but Slicer hasn't really been helping his teammate. Instead, Slicer's going to come around for this counterattack, man. Slicer has been doing phenomenal this game with this lizard play, man. I'm pretty impressed. And look at this, just hammering his opponents here. And I love this too, just keeping these few lizards back. Okay, just go ahead and deny that expansion, but Blue is getting up here on Yellow's base, and Yellow really doesn't have anything to combat this. He's trying to get up to some Falcons, but that's not going to work in time. And this might be too much for Yellow. Slicer's going to come back with some lizards, try to clean this up, and eventually, I think it'll maybe get cleaned up, but not until Calbane has suffered some really critical damage. And meanwhile, back in Premium Bow's base, he just kind of turtled up and tried to get back to the day farm economy after suffering so much damage early on. This might be an overextension for Kerpa here. He's going to lose his tier 2, but he just wants to get as much damage done as possible. And yeah, I think he should have pulled back for sure after taking that main base from Calbane. All right, Slicer coming in again. Let's see if these turrets are enough to push him back. I don't think, though. He kind of hesitated there, man. He committed, and then he changed his mind. I actually think he had plenty. Turrets are fantastic, but you really need to defend them, man. You can't just let them... You can't, like, build a couple turrets and think that's going to stop, a whole army here of lizards. You really got to get some tier 1 up there to buffer for those turrets, really let them get that damage output done. But now Blue and Green are a little bit on the ropes here. Yellow trying to help out as he can, but needs to be careful to keep that Falcon alive. He's going to go home beforehand and actually knocks Kerpa right out of the game. Okay, guys, Premium Bow, after suffering some serious damage in the early game, is in a 1v2 situation with really very few units to his name. Let's see if he can manage to get something done here. Now, the silver lining here is Calbane was also pretty devastated earlier on as well. And Slicer's almost out of gas here, man. He's been going so hard on lizards all game long. Yeah, he's really trying to get this second base up and running. But nice job from Premium coming in there, slowing that down a little bit, forcing Slicer to sell some of those farms. But I like this a lot from Slicer. I mean, he's in a 1v2. It's really their game to lose at this point. If all 3 players just macro up, then mathematically, the 2v1 team is going to have an advantage, right? So Premium Bow's really got to get something done here. For now, he's just going for a lot of them Liz boys. And gonna run around and try to get whatever done he can. I mean, he sniped that Falcon, that'd be good. It looked like he tried to target fire that, but sitting over the Warren makes it pretty difficult. Gonna have to return back to base for now. All right. Let's see if Premium Bow can do it, man. Like, Slicer and Calbane are both starting to stabilize in a decent position here. We're 7 minutes in. I I don't even really know what to say anymore, man. Yeah, he's just going for lizards. I don't blame him. I think that's really all you can do at this point. Yeah, I'd recommend selling these turrets off. They kind of serve their purpose of allowing Premium Bow, after he got crippled early on, to get back up to that 8-farm economy. But now what he really needs is stuff, man. He needs a lot of lizards. And I would really go hard on this second base, too, if I'm Premium Bow, but it's easier said than done, man. I mean, look at the incomes here. Okay, here we go. The big attack out from red and yellow. Moving in. Oh, that turret. That hero turret, man. Look how much damage that turret's getting done through this entire fight. What beautiful placement there. Right behind those trees. The AI on the units were just like sitting there. It didn't even, you know, automatically go over there and try to take that out or anything. Now Premium Bow just has so many lizards. He's gonna run in here. His opponents, you know, tried to tech up into tier 2. And that kind of gives Premium Bow the strength window that he needed. Goes in there and absolutely wrecks Slicer. Now he can actually take Slicer's army and maybe even knock Slicer out of this game. Yeah, I think that was a mistake by red and yellow, man. Maybe trying to tech up. Yeah, if they would have just kept building more and more tier 1, especially Calbane with those toads. All right, Premium Bow here, man. I believe in the bow. I believe in the premium strats, man. Bashed into Tooth and Tail confirmed. Dude, that turret is such a hero turret, man. But these toads are going to be real rough here. Calbane controls these right. Oh, my God. Oh. If you hate lizards, that play was dedicated to you, man. 3 toads took out, what, 16 lizards there? And now the shelling is happening on Premium Bow's base. Just a few lizards going to try to get in here, get something done. They're going to take out the snake, which is a big deal, but if he can actually deny this expansion from Slicer, that's huge. But now Premium Bow is starving. Really no money left. He's got a lot of money wrapped up in Warrens, though. He can go back to his base and sell those off, but he really can't afford to lose these lizards again. And with the toads coming out from Calbane, I don't know if it's going to get done. Slicer is pretty out of this game, though. Like, he's still got 200 food. He's just trying to macro up, but he's got no units. It's really coming down to Calbane. And Premium Bow is just trying to use these 7 lizards that he has to run around the map and get done what he can. He cannot take a direct engagement for a lot of reasons at this point. He's just got to get in and get out, man. Need some Metal Gear Solid lizards here. Sells off a turret. I love it. Sells down a couple Warrens. Grabs that campfire to prevent the starvation. He's going to catch the snake. That's a pretty big deal if he can get on it. Not without losing a few lizards, though. And really, every lizard just counts so hard here for Premium Bow. All right, man. All right, 4 lizards. Can they do it? Calbane sniffs out the counterattack, though. Already starts getting into position. Premium Bow is going to have to get out of there. You really can't afford to lose these few lizards he's got left. Ooh, and actually, you know what? This might be the end of the game here. Premium Bow might be falling. Really valiant effort there to win that 1v2. But in the end, Slicer and Calbane take the game. Really cool game, man. That was a fantastic 2v2. Close, man. Really close. I've seen him do it before, so I was hyped, man. I think that was like the 44th 2v2 from Premium Bow I've casted. It's insane. Okay, guys, game number 6. Let's hop into it. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Pile. And his opponent to the top left, Buttercake. Alright, Fox versus Badger here. Pile's deck is pretty mean, man. No Squirrel Lizard, but Squirrel, Mole, Pigeon is a nice move out. The Moles obviously give you the option to do some shenanigans in the early game if you so choose to. and then he can transition into a big badger play behind some balloons. He can even, use the balloons to contain his opponent if he sees that his opponent's going for a fast tier 3. So a lot of options with that deck. And meanwhile, Buttercake here, he's going to rely on the Squirrel Pigeon Chameleon perhaps in the early game. He's obviously got the Fox, a fantastic unit if you've got some good micro. And maybe we'll see the Ferrets, maybe not. The Ferrets are always just kind of nice to add in if you want to siege a position. I feel like Ferret, Fox, Turret synergizes fantastically. Is that a word, fantastically? I gotta look that up. I don't think that's a word. Fantastically. Who wants to take bets? I don't think that's a real word, guys. Fantastically. No, that is a real word. Never mind. I'm good. I know English. Keep the number in the replay title. I really should, man. For sure, on those premium bow replays, like that count is getting high up there. Fantastically just sounds like a wrong word, right? I don't know, but I guess no, that is legit. So, anyways, guys, nothing super crazy this match. Pile macroing up, and Buttercake's got the campfire here. The tier 2 is out, so yeah, he is gonna go Ferret. But yeah, what I was saying earlier, man, the Fox, the Ferret, the Turret just synergize very well, fantastically, you could say. I mean, imagine if Buttercake set up a nice position, somewhere around here, a couple turrets there, and then he can poke and prod in with the Ferrets and Foxes and move back to the turret line in case things get too dicey. Now, Buttercake did get a pretty thorough scout off, yeah, so he knows what's going on Pile's side of the map. And Pile is just playing really straightforward here, pretty standard stuff. Like those Falcons as a tier 2 rush is just going to add a lot of damage. The Ferrets add the utility of the range, and the Falcons are just going to be powerhouses if you can micro them correctly and keep them alive. So Buttercake is really going to have to try to focus fire down those Falcons with the Squirrels as quickly as he can. Dingo Dancing, I've seen him on the show a couple times. But there is indeed one way to make sure you are on the show, guys. If you submit a replay yourself to ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com, I always prioritize unique submitters. You might see nights where, I have a few games from the same people. And it's mainly when, I just don't have a ton of unique submitters. So unique submitters will always show up on the show, especially if you're somebody who's never submitted or you don't submit that often. I will for sure get your replay on. Pile coming in with a nice attack, though. He's going to shut down this forward position that Buttercake was trying to set up, but he might be overextending. If Buttercake can get that Falcon down, that would be huge. Nice attack there from Pile. And keeping this Falcon alive, this long is very impressive. He gets that Warren, too. Yeah, keeps both Falcons alive. That's huge. But Buttercake keeps his Ferrets alive, and that's equally as important of a thing there. These Falcons should start going down. Buttercake really trying to target fire these down. One dies, the other one's still in the air. Gets it. That's actually a huge pickup there for Buttercake. Yeah, now he's trying to set up this forward position I was talking about, so he can kind of run up, poke a little bit, and then run back, and rinse and repeat with those Ferrets, and eventually get enough value over time where he's just, worked Pile down, grinded him to the nub, and can move out for a real big engagement. Nice micro there from Pile. I don't think he's really lost. Oh, barely sells that balloon in time. Loses a couple squirrels there. Buttercake saw the balloon, right? Yes, okay. So he knows what's coming. I think the music's broken or something. Have you guys noticed that? It's playing that same part of Hopper's theme over and over again. But anyways, guys, I like this a lot from Buttercake, just really saturating up that second base. It's going to put him in a dominating lead as long as Pile can't push out. And he's got a read on how many farms that Pyle has taken, and I don't think Pyle really is aware. Yeah, he hasn't actually got in there to scout that second base for quite some time. Gonna start pushing this back with those Falcons. I don't know if he's gonna, yeah, he's gonna hard engage onto the turrets. He's gonna lose several squirrels there, but he manages to knock that turret down. He's gonna come in for the other turret, gets it as well, keeps the Falcons alive. First Falcon goes down, but the ferrets are still here for Buttercake, which is the big important part of this. Great job from Pyle there, really driving Buttercake back, breaking that forward position that allowed Buttercake to just non-stop harass. Even gonna pick up a pig, almost. One Falcon goes down though, and the second one might be going down here shortly. There it goes, so that's really, really important, man. You cannot lose those tier 2 in these engagements. Now, Pyle microed those phenomenally, but that's going to put Buttercake in a fantastic position, keeping his tier 2 alive, knocking out Pyle's tier 2. And we saw that in that earlier engagement as well. But the real story here is this economic lead that Buttercake's got. We saw that with Big Pimpintosh versus Duchu, In the end, it didn't matter that Duchu was taking, great engagements. Tosh just had too much stuff, man. All right, 6:48 into the game right now. Maybe I'll fast forward just a little bit here. We're coming up to the 7-minute mark. The Fox is now down, and Pyle, on the other hand, is going for just more Falcons at this point. I wonder when he's going to go for a third. Like, he's seen the third base for Buttercake, man. Pyle cannot be happy with that scout. Seeing that his opponent's got so many farms. I wonder if he's just going to come home and build a bunch of farms himself, or what really the move is here. Like, he's got to finance these Falcons at this point. Takes another gristmill. Okay, sorry guys. I'm too bad trying to read the chat. Man, I was talking about with Gabeney. That's not a violin right there? Yeah, no, I think he's right. I think that is some kind of flute instrument. Yeah, if I'm listening closely, I could see that maybe. Do I even know what a violin sounds like? Man, I always thought that was violin. I guess it's some kind of woodwind. All right, trying to be sneaky, man. Coming over here to the ferrets. Gonna get a little bit of harassment in, but not really getting any damage done there. The pig's natural movement didn't allow for those ferrets to land any shots, and those Falcons pushed them back. And lots of balloons from Pyle coming up. Pyle sometimes resorts to this style, It's a flute-like instrument. A wood flute. Yeah. All right, so anyways, the Fox is out. Gonna start the harassment. But these balloons are gonna be really good to keep the Fox back. Not gonna allow him to really come in there. And that's super rough when you got the Fox, man, because the Fox doesn't add a ton of direct value to like a hard engagement. The Fox is really just trying to harass over time. And when you have enough balloons out here to just shut that down, it's real difficult. Third bases are up and running, and this time Pyle is actually a little more greedy on his third base, but he never actually took these other few farms on his second. Maybe he was worried those are a bit too harassable there by Buttercake. But Buttercake's gonna run in, and that Fox goes down immediately. That is huge. Pyle's got to be happy about that. But Pyle's standing army is really not that big. Yeah, this is going to be rough for Butterlesser, or Buttercake, rather. Yeah, I was curious if he was going to sell that tier 3 off, but I don't really think you have to at this phase in the game. You got a good enough economy to definitely reinforce that. But, man, Pyle here. So he did this to me on the ladder once, but it was a lot more right out the gate. I think because Pyle kind of realizes, I like to rush my own Fox. So, like, he took, like, an expansion or two. The map was really good for it. Kind of like this map, really. And He just built a ton of balloons like this, got up to 3 bases super fast, and then came at me with like 7 or 8 badgers and a lot of pigeons. And I had like 7 or 8 owls. And owls lost that fight pretty hard. Once those badgers get revved up, man, you just have a ton of them. Like, they do so much damage. All right, Buttercake's got a fox again. Fox number 2 coming out. And again, it's rough to have the fox in this situation, man, because all these balloons just really make that fox useless. And Buttercake, I wonder what's going to be the big unit he's going to go hard on. It looks like squirrels, which makes sense. You know, tier 1 is pretty good against balloons, but once you can start getting balloons up in numbers like this, even tier 1 can have a little bit of difficulty dealing with them. Just because, you know, right when those tier 1 engage, like 5 squirrels are going to die immediately, right? Look at this no man's land here. Alright, let's do a little bit of fast forwarding. Buttercake's gonna be able to get into the main base and scout out the badgers. That's a pretty big deal. And Pyle's gonna go down on his balloon count here. He's actually selling them all off. Is he gonna... Yeah, okay. He's just gonna build 1,000,000 moles here and move out for the big push. But Buttercake's got a nice little defensive spread here. And a fox on defense is actually not bad. As long as he can just... Really, all Buttercake needs to worry about in this engagement is just keeping this fox alive. But here we go. The moles coming in. Good job on Pyle's part, really allowing those to go up front. But they kind of get mowed down pretty quickly. And that is a lot of turrets. Only 2 turrets really firing in at this point, but so many squirrels here for Buttercake. And the badger's actually going down. Good target firing there from Buttercake, and Pyle's going to tap out, leaving a pool of blood behind him, and Buttercake takes the win. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Always appreciate it, man. It's always great to see you guys. Somebody said something in the chat earlier about me being responsible and showing up to my own show or something. Oh, everybody was talking about woodwinds. Is woodwind not the right terminology? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I play drums. Let's hop into game number 7 here. Hey, see you later, Kill My Team. I always appreciate you stopping by, man. Alright, in the bottom, we've got Miss Glicker. And his opponent to the top, Mr. Minion Man. Okay, Mr. Minion Man. I think I've seen that guy on the ladder recently. Maybe he's a newer player? I don't recall seeing him, like, super back in the day, but again, that doesn't really mean anything. Now, Licker's got a pretty nice spread here. Both players do. Actually, both players running the exact same deck, except for Minion Man opting for those owls, while Licker's going for the old fox. So, let's see it. What do these guys decide to do? Taking a look at this map here, I guess it's better for Licker, right? Like, he's got the second base right here. Nice high ground around it. Can throw up a couple turrets right there. Ooh, Minion Man, okay. Coming in. A little bit of cheese here. Now, this should get scouted pretty quickly by Licker, and indeed it does. I think the correct response is just throw down a turret immediately right there. Yep, sure enough, Licker does. That should be enough to just shut this down, because Minion Man's not going to be able to build his own turret in time. But he's going to try. Actually, he's going to try to counter this with a couple turrets. Yeah, that is a good response. That turret's not going to be able to kill everything in time. As I say that, maybe it is able to kill everything in time. But Minion Man still got 1 turret down here. But he lost a lot of money on those other 2 turrets. And this is going to get shut down by Miss Clicker, as that Gristmill will die. I love this by Minion Man too. He goes back home, makes sure to keep saturating his base, and debates on whether or not he wants to try to hard expand again there, and decides not to. Saving some money for now, maybe scratching his head deciding what to go for. Is he going to go straight for an owl? Indeed he is. Alright, so if Miss Liquor scouts this out, man, that's going to be huge. He can run in there with the big attack and do a ton of damage to Minion Man, who has no tier 1 at the moment. Yeah, Liquor really doesn't have to. I like that a lot. Sell those turrets off. He's going to leave that one just to be annoying. But here we go. Liquor's coming up, but these turrets should be done in time. I guess not, actually. Gonna lose a turret there. One turret gets up, but Liquor's got plenty of squirrels here, just with a little bit of focus fire. He's gonna knock those down. Ew, but Liquor loses his commander. That is absolutely huge. But still, he's just got enough squirrels here where they're gonna knock out that Warren anyways, and a farm. So overall, two farms, man. Very successful attack here from Liquor, even getting a 3rd farm. So how is Minion Man gonna get back into this game from here? A little bit of overextension there, but with the amount of damage that Miss Liquor got done, dude, really doesn't matter. And on top of that, he's got the campfire in the back. But this owl is almost out. But Liquor really shouldn't be giving Minion Man any breathing room. He really needs to keep this aggression going. And yeah, he's going to move out again. I don't think one owl is going to be enough to keep 12 to 15 squirrels at bay. And Minion Man, with taking so many hits to his economy, you know, really this owl is all he's going to have for quite some time here. Is Liquor actually just trying to target fire down the gristmill? Wow, that's actually going to allow Minion Man to get back into this game. If Liquor kind of hung back a bit there and tried to target fire down that owl, he probably would have been fine, right? I don't know. That owl really saves the day for Minion Man, who's got a lot of food. Taking that second base, I'm sure he's just kind of waiting to throw down maybe a ton of farms here. And meanwhile, Liquor's just got a lot of tier 1. He doesn't have a second base. You know, he lost a couple farms earlier on. This turret's still there. And this one owl is going to try to get some stuff done, but this defensive position should be enough for Miss Liquor to push back any kind of owl maneuvers. That owl really shouldn't be able to get too much harassment done until that owl number really starts to increase. Yeah, Classic Metal noting that he would have won if he hadn't pulled his units to the range of all the pigs. Yeah, I think if Liquor handled that push a little bit better, he probably would have just won the game for sure. But I think he got blood in his eyes, you know, and really just wanted to deal that knockout punch and just barely wasn't able to. All right, so we're 5 minutes, 30 seconds in almost. Liquor's getting his own second base, but Minion Man's second base is pretty damn saturated at this point. You know, he's in a good spot to maybe come back and win this game. Yeah, I don't really see what Liquor can do at this point. Maybe try to find some cheeky angles, come over here with the pigeons on the high ground. You know, giving a high ground vision rather, and kind of poke down on those pigs. That's always good value there for Minion Man, knocking out a couple squirrels, you know, with free units. And Liquor's gonna try to come in here and engage. Actually gets the owl there. That is huge, but loses a lot of his army in the process. And the problem is, Liquor's just on a 3-farm economy at this point. So, you know, Minion Man could afford to lose that owl, and Liquor really couldn't afford to lose his army. He's got to get some income going, but I think he kind of realizes he needs to end this game. Like, he understands how far ahead Minion Man is. He's just got to get in there and deal that crippling blow. But Minion Man's just going to keep reinforcing this with more and more defense, and this defense is just doing such a great job defending both his bases and that third base that he can procure here shortly. Gotta keep these Falcons alive. They stay alive for the time being. Nice little denial there, but the Falcon goes down. That's huge. And Minion Man looks to be in a dominating spot, I feel like. He's got his owl back out. He's even got enough food to throw down another owl warren. He's definitely got the economy to back that up. And Licker's just kind of stuck with this couple squirrels and Falcon. He just doesn't have the economy. He's trying to sneak in a couple farms in between engagements, but he really just needs to back off, I feel like, and turtle up and try to get an economy of his own going. Okay, maybe fast forward just a little bit here. We're at the 8-minute mark, guys. Might actually do like a 1-minute break after this. Use the restroom, grab another drink. Yeah, I feel like Minion Man's kind of got it from here, right? Like, Licker is just too far behind, both in army and in income. Like, Licker really needed to, earlier on, take his second base, I feel like. But he was trying to do that one base all in. And it is a shame, man, because with a little bit of better control and that big push-out engagement, earlier on, Minion Man's owl was just spawning. Licker could have taken the match. But it happens sometimes, man. He made a judgment call. He thought he had enough to take the gristmill out, and he didn't at that point. And this has been a very good comeback here for Minion Man. I mean, he was down to just a few farms and an owl, and he really shoved his way back into this game, muscled for position, and is starting to make it happen. Yeah, now Licker's getting that fully saturated second base. But, I mean, look at this income advantage, It's been pretty heavy for the past few minutes here for Minion Man. Might do a little bit of speeding up. We're really just waiting on Minion Man to push out at this point, I feel like. Kind of interesting he didn't decide to go really hard on owls. Just the one owl and lots of tier 1. And these turrets are helping Licker buy some time. So maybe if Licker can get this third base up and Minion Man doesn't really move out for a while, and he keeps investing all this money into turrets rather than army, Licker might have a chance to get back into this game. But Minion Man decides he's got enough, and he's going to move in for the big push. But actually, no, he's just going to let the mice go in. Try to get something done, but I don't think anything really died there for Licker. Okay, Minion Man pushing in. And I really don't think Licker's got enough here. And that's going to be that, I believe. We should see Licker tapping out here shortly, so. Really cool game, man. Great job by Minion Man. It's cool to mix in those, like, cheesy turret rush type strategies, keep players on their toes. And I think he did a good job after he suffered a lot of damage to that counter push, stabilizing and staying alive. So, okay, guys, just a really quick break. I won't be gone for very long at all, so why don't you grab yourself a drink as well, and I will see you guys back in just a minute or two. Okay, I am back, everybody. Did you miss me? Yeah, I thought I was making better time. It looks like we're gonna be right about 2 hours tonight with the replays we've got lined up. Had a few longer games tonight. Okay. Ooh, alright. Alright. Let me check, make sure everything's cool. Alright, looks like it is. Thanks for tuning in, as always, guys. I really appreciate it, and let us continue the show. Match number 8 here. Okay, spawning in the bottom left, we've got S-Dollar. And his opponent to the top right, Amistria. Alright, I think this is the same deck we saw Amistria running earlier. With the wolf, barbed wire, squirrel lizard kind of style. An S-Dollar, a little more standard. I always feel like the 2 tier 1, 2 tier 2, tier 3 turret is a pretty safe deck composition. Lizard Toad is really cool to see, so you don't run into that issue as we saw with that Misclicker first Red Dino game, you know, where Licker was stuck with just lizards against toads of his opponent. So here, you're really trying to say you got some good micro, man. Lizard Toad, because if your opponent's going Squirrel Toad, you know, you've got to try to, you know, trade your toads for your opponent's toads, right, and keep your lizards alive, which can be easier said than done. But Squirrel Lizard versus Lizard Toad, that's pretty neat. It might come down to how many tier 1 is built. It also comes down to target fire as well with the squirrels from Amistria. You know, if you're going up, I mean, toads are really good against squirrels too. Just they kind of shine against lizards because lizards clump up, you know, since they're so fast. And while they're running around, they kind of stack on top of each other, so that AoE damage is enormous, while squirrels kind of spread out a little more. But target firing down toads with your squirrels is very, very important. So I'd like to see if we get to see some cool micro like that this game. But Dollar taking that campfire. Fantastic time, by the way. I think that's a really safe time. Yeah, Amistria doing the same thing. 8 farm, 2 tier 1 campfire. I mean, that is such a good opening. If you want to be really greedy, you can get the campfire before your 2 tier 1 Warrens, but you're kind of running the risk of your opponent moving out and getting some damage onto you. 2 campfires here for S-Dollar, though. That is a big deal. I mean, campfires are an enormous deal in the early game, man. Like, do not underestimate the value that can give you or your opponent, for sure. Man, I'm really excited to see Squirrel Lizard versus Lizard Toad. I hope we get to see some of that this game. Maybe not, though, as S-Dollar is going up into ferrets. And S-Dollar has probably got the toads as a counter to opponent toads or a counter to the opponent's lizards, you know? He's not just going to build the toads, I don't feel like. Dude, okay. If Gentleman is still watching, am I an idiot? Or think about it, man. Squirrel, toad, lizard, mole, pigeon. Like, wouldn't that be such a... I guess you just don't have enough money to get enough of all that, but could you imagine, like, a big squirrel, toad, lizard, mole, pigeon push? Like, all 5 tier 1 together? I think that would be pretty powerful, man. I wonder what tier 2 you would put against it. Look at this barbed wire. Barely getting up in time for Amistria. And there's not a lot S-Dollar can do to get around this. He's just kind of got to sack units to get through it. Some good value there. I mean, really cool to see that barbed wire come into play. And Amistria is just building a ton of squirrels at the moment and getting up to her own ferrets. And she's got that second base, but we're really kind of tied up on income because of 2 campfires from S-Dollar. So yeah, Amistria is actually going pretty hard on that second base. I'm a little bit surprised. That's a risk. And S-Dollar are going to move in and be in position. But again, this barbed wire is really helping out here a little bit. And the squirrels coming in to attack. Those lizards got some decent damage done. They killed a lot of Warrens, but in the end, they're all cleaned up. And now if these ferrets die, that is a huge deal. S-Dollar's got to get these ferrets out of here alive, and it looks like he will, as Amicia doesn't have those lizards to quickly, chase those down. So overall, I'd say a pretty successful attack for S-Dollar there. Like, he lost a lot of lizards, sure, but he got a lot of Warren damage done. As you can see, Amicia has just got to build a ton of Warrens even to get back up to what she had, and now she's transitioning over to lizards, but right at the same time that S-Dollar is going into toads, moving that barbed wire out a bit further. But Amicia, since she decided to take that really fast second base, like, all she's got to do at this point is stay alive. It's really on S-Dollar to make something happen. And he's doing a great job of it so far. Can he get these ferrets? He's gonna get one. The second one here for Amicia might live. But the 4 ferret harassment, man, is pretty big. With these, a couple lizards get on top of those ferrets, kill one of them, and force them to back off for now. But now the toads are here, man, and these toads are gonna be fantastic in a big tier 1 engagement. Needs to micro these toads correctly, though. You don't want those toads to just blow up on buildings. This might be too much for Amicia here. Like, she's got the better economy, but this siege is getting a ton of damage done, killing a lot of infrastructure here. A lot of Warrens going down. Trying to build that barbed wire tank. You know, it's actually helping out quite a bit. It's pretty expensive for Amicia, but it's giving her enough to stabilize here and push S-Dollar back. And since we're at the 5-minute 30-second mark, you know, the economic advantage that Amicia has here is just magnified. You know, S-Dollar's going really, really hard on this one base, but, you know, he's got these expansion options down here. You know, this one might be a little too much. If Amicia sniffed that out, could just, you know, poke from the high ground with some squirrels or ferrets, but that base is pretty safe for him. But other than that, well, I guess Amicia's only got a couple extra gristmills on her side of the map, too, so. And this one's kind of difficult for Amicia to take, right? So both players have, like, a pretty easy second base and a hard third base to take, with S-Dollar having that extra campfire. Now, S-Dollar's been playing phenomenally all game long, but now we're going to start seeing that economic advantage that Amicia invested in earlier on really come into play. You know, it's no longer a risk, the second base. Now she's transitioned into the reward section, and she should be able to just finance a powerhouse army here. Yeah, S-Dollar went for that one base all in, man. That's really what this came down to, and he did a great job, but he just wasn't quite able to seal the deal. And I gotta say, man, I think if Amicia didn't have the barbed wire here, I feel like S-Dollar would have won this game. Like, this barbed wire has gotten so much value done all game long. Like, look at this. That is insane. Now Amicia thinks she's got enough, gonna move in for the big counterattack, man. Really cool to see a match where barbed wire is the MVP, man. And I think that's going to be too much for S-Dollar there. He taps out. Amicia takes the game. Yeah, definitely MVP barbed wire right there for sure. Let's keep it going, guys. Match number 9. Okay, spawning on the left, we've got Amari. No lizards this time, interesting. And to the top, her opponent, Big Pimpatosh. Okay, I gotta snort, and I'm gonna be a professional streamer and mute my microphone. Ah, there we go, all better. Okay. So we see the boar here for Tosh. Pretty strong pick in this tier 1 heavy meta. And meanwhile, Amari's going for this contain build, you know, that we see. It's kind of a response to the tier 3 meta, you know. If your opponent is trying to go for a quick tier 3, you can grab a close by gristmill, like perhaps this one, and set up a balloon turret contain and try to defeat your opponent that way. So I'm interested to see how Amari's going to play this out. Like, from Tasha's perspective, I feel like it's pretty straightforward, right? Like, he's just gonna build up. Like, he can do that skunk move out that we see pretty often. 9-12 squirrels with the 2 skunks. Pretty strong shoulder check kind of move, as I call it. And then he can transition into the boar, and he's got the snake kind of as a utility pick against his opponent's tier 3 or lots of tier 2 of his opponent. And meanwhile, Amari, I feel like she's going for this big mid-game push out with lots of squirrels and toads and chameleons, and she's probably just got the ferrets in the deck as a little bit of insurance, you know, because if your strategy is to end the game early and your opponent turtles up really hard, then you're definitely not going to be able to. So those ferrets allow you to come in and definitely break that turret kind of defensive turtle style relatively easily. Nice pickup there on the campfire by Tosh, by the way. I think Amari scouted that out, and she sent a couple squirrels over here to take it out. Really good to see. Now Tosh might be, I don't think he's gonna wise up to it in time. Yeah, these two squirrels will be able to take out this campfire before Tosh could get over there. So nicely done by Amari. And she's gonna use her other units to try to rally up and start a push out against Tosh and try to catch him before these skunks come out here. But the defender's advantage might be too much. Amari's not target firing there. Gets the farm, that's nice. Loses a decent amount of squirrel zone, backs off. And now Tosh is going to be in a decent spot for a move out once he's got these two skunks up. You know, since Amari's really just got squirrels at the moment. You know, skunks do fantastic against squirrels. You know, but if Amari teched in some ferrets or some chameleons, that help give her a chance against these skunks here. But Tosh throwing down the balloon, that's got to be raising a lot of red flags in Amari's mind. Yeah, she even sells that off. And what is she going to transition into? A balloon herself. Interesting. Okay. Let's see where this game's gonna go, guys. Tosh takes the second base after scouting Amari's. And Amari's just gonna hang on. That balloon is just giving her a little bit of insurance against that skunk push. Yeah, now she's gonna get out her chameleons, which are gonna help give her an opportunity to go toe-to-toe with those skunks. You know, target fire down those skunks real quickly. And you use those, you know, try to micro the squirrels out of there. Be careful about that. Alright, maybe a little bit of fast forward here as the game kind of continues. You know, both players building up to a pretty big mid-game. We're almost at the 4-minute 15-second mark here. And here we see the tier 3 going down for Tosh. You know, Amari might have expected this tier 3 to come out a bit earlier, you know, after seeing that balloon. You know, it's kind of a big, you know, alarm bell that your opponent might be going for something like a tier 3. Comes in, gets a very nice scout off on her opponent, sees the second base, sees the tier 3. She doesn't have her own tier 3, so her options at this point are either to just macro up like crazy or try to push in for a timing attack before that tier 3 is out on the board. And that might be, she might be going for the latter here. Yeah, it sells the balloon, very, very smart. And gonna build a lot more warrens, maybe even take this gristmill here. Yeah, with the turrets and the balloons, I love it. I feel like Tosh could contest this gristmill being taken, but not if it's too late. He's not aware of it. Let's see if he gets the scout off in time. Yeah, he's gonna come check it out. He sees what's going on. He's gonna move in to try to do something about that. Mari needs to get those chameleons up to that front position to try to target down her opponent's tier 2s, but the gristmill finishes here for Amari. Now she can start throwing down some defensive structures. Gonna move in for the engagement. Gets a snake, maybe? No, the snake actually lives. And the chameleon does go down to that snake poison. Look at this ferret. I'm coming, guys. Wait for me. Nice harassment there. Knocking down that farm. Gonna keep the siege going. I would love to see a balloon or two come up here from Amari whenever she can afford it. Which should actually be about now, like, unless she's gonna throw down more warrens, or maybe just save a little bit of money to reinforce more quickly. But coming in for the big fight here. Nice micro on those chameleons. Making sure those are up on the front line. Now she sees that it's the boar, but she knocks out that second base. That's a big deal. She's gonna retreat back down to her turret line. And let's see if Tosh is just gonna run around. No, Amari's actually gonna, you know, close down shop and head home. Interesting decision here. I like it, man. Maybe she just ran some numbers in her head real quick and was like, you know what, I feel like he's gonna be able to break through this, and if he does, and I really try to, you know, reinforce it too hard, I'll just lose the game from there. So she's gonna back out home. You know, she took that second base out from Tosh. Tosh has no economy. He's just got this one campfire in the bottom that's about halfway burnt out. And that is a rough attack path, but oh, that is such a good attack path for the boar. Oh man, all those units lining up and just getting roasted there, having to come in, funneling one by one. Man, that boar is just so strong. It's eventually going to go down, but it takes most of Amari's army out with it. But Tosh lost a lot here. Actually, Amari is definitely in the better position here. She's still got an economy. She's still got some tier 2 units. So yeah, I think she's fine. Tosh really's got to get something done here, man. Wow, he's gonna go for a lot of warrants. He's got no income though, man. How are you gonna afford all these squirrels? I think that's totally the right play by Amari too, by the way. You know, why risk pushing out and losing the game maybe? But you know what? She probably could have won if she pushed out right there. I don't think she realizes. Well, she's got to know how little Tosh's economy is at this point since she took out that second base, right? But she's just kind of doing the old Artosis Day 9, you know, style, you know, win ahead, get more ahead. But you don't want to give Tosh too much breathing room either. So she needs to attack out soon. And it looks like she's going to go for it now. And Tosh is gearing up for the counter attack. Might be in a base trade situation here. She's just going to come in with the ferrets and kind of test out what's going on. But Tosh's army is already on the other side of the map. Does she have vision of it with the balloon? She's seen a couple of squirrels. Man, that balloon just gives you so much vision. So she's seen that entire army try to swing around. She's got to move in, and I can't believe Tosh actually has this many squirrels here, but I don't think it's going to be enough with the ferrets and the chameleons of Amari. Tosh taps out. Amari takes the game. I think Tosh submitted that one. I could be wrong. Amari submits from time to time. So cool to see. I believe Tosh submitted that, though, so cool to see, you know, someone submitting that loss, man. Woo. I don't know why I'm so rusty, man. Like, lately, I've been getting a sore throat after these shows. Normally that doesn't happen. I think it's when I'm not drinking beer. maybe the beer, maybe the buzz just makes me not notice it or something. I don't know. Anyways, guys, let's get into match number 10. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Iris. And his opponent to the top, Big Pimpin' Tosh. Going for the Badger this time. Meanwhile, Iris has got that Fox, so. And this is a really good spawn for a fast Fox. You know, I think the patented fast Fox opening, you know, 8 farms, 2 tier 1, into the Fox, into 2 more tier 1, so a total of 4 tier 1. And with Defender's Advantage and 12 squirrels, you should be able to defend off in a push from your opponent. You also need to kind of throw down a clutch turret or 2 if you have to. But you don't want to overdo it with turrets with that strategy as you can slow down your Fox, so. Let's see it, man. And on the flip side, I guess you could say, Tosh has a great spawn for his own fast tier 3 rush. But Tosh has got a really good spawn to just macro up as well. I mean, look at this for Tosh here. You know, these 2 bases are really easy expands. That's an easy 4th, pretty easy 5th, and a campfire there that's pretty reasonable. And Iris' side of the map, he's got that second base I always talk about. You know, he's got 1 expansion, but that's really it. So I feel like Iris has got to go for a fast Fox rush here. I mean, he might not, but I think this map, that's definitely what the doctor ordered, man, because he's just not going to have a good opportunity to macro up here. He's got a decent spawn for it. So we'll see what he decides to do. He doesn't necessarily have to do that, man. He could always just go to 2 base play, you know, get up a nice well-rounded army and try to win that way. And meanwhile, I feel like Tosh is kind of the protagonist here. Iris is the antagonist. Like, it's really on Iris to get something done. Tosh can just hang out, man. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so Iris is going to try to take one of these gristmills to make up. You try to muscle out here on this map for position and try to contain Tosh. And Tosh doesn't have ferrets in his deck, so throwing down a few turrets here might be pretty annoying. Decent defense so far from Tosh. I think Iris might have had a little bit of a window there as Tosh pulled out his squirrels to just jump on that turret, but that turret's not really a big deal for Iris. Like, it's not in firing range of anything. And yeah, this is a good move for sure. I feel like Iris had to do this. I don't see this as cheesy at all. And Iris can back this up with some ferrets and start poking in. But he needs to be careful, man. He can't just leave these turrets up here undefended. And Tosh doesn't have ferrets, but he's got snakes, and you know that's as best as he can. You know, snakes are not bad at poking down turrets either, so. I love that too, by the way. When you're starting to get contained like this, if you can just sneak out and take another base like that, it can really mess you up. We've seen that in several games. Amari versus the Gentleman from a couple shows back comes to mind. But yeah, now Iris is going to take that opportunity to knock down that turret while it was undefended a little bit there. Tosh is going to pull back for now. But yeah, that's huge because Iris is probably not going to do a whole lot of scouting from this point on, right? He's just going to keep muscling up this position, and he can really screw up, you know, where you feel like you are in the game and where you feel like your opponent is when they have that hidden base. So as long as Tosh can kind of keep that a secret, you know, get over there, throw down a couple farms on that. You know, Iris might feel like, okay, I'm on 1.5 base economy, he's on 1 base economy, right? So I should be able to come in here and wreck him, and you know, you get wrecked upon. Like we see that happen pretty often here. But the ferrets are almost out, and that's where this is going to get more and more difficult for Tosh. Now, Tosh has been doing a good job of taking out these turrets. Only 1 turret remains. But now that the ferret is here, Iris can really amp up the amount of pressure he's applying. So this is a really hard situation to be in. I always feel like when you're getting poked like this, the best thing to do is to just all in. Because the longer you wait, the more your opponent's going to get ahead. But you can be in a position where you can't exactly all in, right? And then, in that scenario, nice pickup on the snake there by Iris, by the way. But in that scenario, you got to kind of dance your units around. You know, take like just the snakes out, for example, or a couple squirrels or something like that. This amount of squirrels you don't necessarily want to do dancing with, because just the sheer amount of numbers, you know, those ferrets are going to get some land hits on. But as you can see, Tosh is moving in. He thinks he's got enough, and he actually might. Good control of your targets, fires down those ferrets, and yeah, now he breaks his contain. And that's basically game over for Iris. Like, you really, really commit super hard when you do this, especially when you're building Warrens up on the front line like that. Like, good job from Iris selling off a couple of those Warrens to get out of here without taking more and more damage, but now Tosh is in a great spot, man. He's had this campfire cooking all game long. He's got 2 extra gristmills up and running to build more and more campfires on. And Iris is kind of put back to the Stone Age, man. All he's got left is, 12 squirrels, which isn't even, comparable to the amount of squirrels that Tosh has. And he's gonna have to figure something out. It's rough. Like, he's got this second base here, but Tosh is gonna continue this harassment with the snake. And if he can actually wiggle right up onto that high ground, he could even take that turret out without taking any damage. Is the turret gonna die? Just barely doesn't. Needs to be careful of these snakes, though. Definitely doesn't want to lose them. But yeah, I feel like Tosh has got enough at this point. He's gonna come in here for a hard engage, and Iris just doesn't have anything left, and he's gonna be forced to tap out. Okay, we got 2 more lined up for you guys. 15 more minutes. I think we can do it. I think we got it, guys. Let's hop into it. Match number 11 here. Spawning in the bottom left, we've got Mr. Minion Man. And his opponent to the top right, the Gentleman. Gentleman also rocking the barbed wire this time around. I think it's great, man. I think it's a really cool addition. It does so well against so many units. It's pretty cheap. It's a little bit map dependent, but not as much as you would think. Like, 1 piece of barbed wire right here. You know what I mean? Like, that's beautiful. Like, Gentleman would never try to barbed wire all this off, like that's just too much. But like a couple pieces there, maybe a couple pieces here. I really feel like with barbed wire, like less is more, you know? You don't want to go crazy and build 20, 30, you know, barbed wire pieces. Just a few that are really well placed can have a huge impact on the game. I like this deck from the gentleman a lot. Squirrel, Lizard, Falcon, Skunk, Fox, Wire. And Minion Man's got a decent lineup as well, going for Squirrel, Mole, Falcon, Skunk, Boar, Turret. A little more standard. I feel like the Squirrel Mole push out is pretty strong. No pigeons from either players here. That's going to make these skunks a lot more effective. And yeah, nothing crazy yet. Pretty early campfire there from Minion Man. But he did skimp out on that 8th farm to secure that so quickly. Minion Man throwing down a mole. Maybe just going to try to test the gentleman, see if he's paying attention. And this one mole is really not going to be able to get anything done. He's going to sell it and just back off for now. I think Gentleman actually wants to sneak over here and try to take out this campfire. Nice little turret placement by Minion Man, though. Should force Gentleman back for at least the time being. You really need about 4 squirrels to comfortably take down a turret. And Gentleman's got plenty of squirrels right now. He's got a lot of money, too. He's going to follow up with the skunk. Not quite that, like, fast skunk push-out aggression that we see often. Just, you know, a little bit of a safer skunk. And this should bode pretty well for the Gentleman, as Minion Man is still just on tier 1 for the time being. Gentleman takes that proxy base. Maybe throw down a little bit of barbed wire, get that healing going. But he needs to be careful, man. That campfire that Minion Man's got is going to add a decent amount to his income. And it could be very surprising. Look at this, man. So he's kind of just trying to, you know, cut this side of the map off from Minion Man completely. And just force Minion Man to take this as his attack path, which can be super annoying. But Minion Man's also got this other exit out of his base, right? Very barely. It's just like one tile right there. So yeah, there's no way Minion Man can attack into all that barbed wire. And that is a lot of barbed wire there from the gentleman. But the barbed wire is pretty cheap. And he's getting that second base economy up and running. So he's okay. And now that these skunks are here, he's kind of built himself a nice position to try to harass from. But lots of turrets coming down to defend. And now Minion Man is just going to opt for the base race. I love this. That is a really good play by the Minion Man. Because the gentleman is going to have no option but to come in here and try to counter base race, and he's not going to be able to with all those turrets there. He realizes that it's going to try to run home, but he's not going to get there in time. Yeah, Minion Man's not going to win the game outright, but he's going to do crippling damage here. Very well played by Minion Man there. Just obliterates the main base of the gentleman. But the gentleman's got those skunks, man. And it's really hard to take this engagement as Minion Man, even though you have so many more squirrels. Like, look how much damage those skunks do to those squirrels. But it looks like with some decent target firing down on that first skunk, they're going to trade armies pretty evenly. And Minion Man's in the better spot. I mean, he's floating a lot of food at this point since he's been out in the map, but that is okay at this moment because he can come back and just build a whole bunch of more stuff, right? And he's got the better economy. He's going to opt for some falcons. Falcons are pretty good against barbed wire. And let's see if Gentleman can forge some kind of comeback here. He's not out of the game just yet, but he did take crippling damage there, man. This barbed wire is going to buy him some time and allow him to get in a better position. But once those falcons are out on the board, man, I don't think Gentleman's really going to have an answer for it. Like, Gentleman's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place at this point because he needs to build an economy to be able to stay in this game over the next few minutes. But he's got to build units to stay in the game right now because of attacks like this, where Minion Man can just kind of zap Brannigan in here, man. He doesn't care how many casualties he's taking. He's getting the job done. But the Falcons are here for Minion Man, and just a few squirrels from the gentleman are the only units that can target them. Oh, that is so annoying, man. That one Falcon would eventually take out that gristmill. It's just barely in range. Minion Man kind of realized it, but you just can't. He can't quite replicate it after you move those falcons, but he can simply just run up here and yeah, do that. There you go. But the skunk micro is coming in from the gentleman. If Minion's not paying attention, he's gonna lose all these squirrels here. Oh, that skunk is really important for the gentleman, and it goes down. No skunk warrens to rebuild it. That was the majority of the power level there of Gentleman's Army. He taps out. Minion Man takes the game off the back of some good decision making, I feel like, in response to that crazy style Gentleman was doing with that proxy gristmill and a lot of barbed wire. So great match, man. Okay, we got one more for you guys, and that will be it for tonight. Don't forget to submit me more replays to ToothAndTailTV at gmail.com, so I got plenty of ammo for Thursday night's show, man. As always, I appreciate everybody tuning in, hanging out, chilling in the chat, man. You guys are the real MVPs. Let's hop into the last game of the night. Okay, spawning in the bottom left, we've got Big Pimpintosh. And in the top right, we've got the gentleman. Okay. Good match in the night, man. Gentleman is well known as one of the top players of Tooth and Tail, and Big Pimpintosh, I feel like, is a newer guy, but he's been, you know, I've had a lot of his games. He's been smithing a lot recently, and he's been playing very well, man. So we're in for a treat here. Gentleman going for the boar as Tosh opts for the badger. I feel like tier 3 is in a pretty good spot right now. You know, for a while it felt like maybe a couple were strong. I mean, obviously, you know, they're never going to be perfectly balanced, but I don't feel like one tier 3 just totally outpowers the other ones, or vice versa, where one tier 3 is just total trash compared to the other guys. I mean, I think if you really had to say, the boar is probably the strongest tier 3 just because it's got so much health. I really think that's what it is. Like, its AoE damage is good. It deals with tier 1 really effectively, but I mean, it's just got so much HP, man. It can tank so much damage. So, I mean, maybe, yeah, the boar is probably the best, but I don't think it's by a big margin. Like, we've had periods of time in Tooth and Tail where it was like, you know, the fox is the best and all other tier 3 are garbage compared to it, or the wolf is the best, and you know, I feel like overall, we're actually in a pretty good balanced state at the moment. I think most units are pretty viable, and we see most units come out pretty often, so I like that a lot. I've been playing since Total Biscuit's video. I just only figure out how to submit replays, but thank you. Oh, right on. Nice little attack there from the gentleman, shutting down that campfire attempt from Tosh. I mean, why not, you know, try to take that campfire. Tosh actually rushing up to that badger, going for that 2 tier 1 into a tier 3 opening here. Has the gentleman sniffed it out? He actually hasn't, and he's going for the contain anyways. Maybe this is just kind of what the gentleman's enjoyed doing lately. It's hard to even call. I mean, I'm not so sure if it's correct to even call this a contain. I think the gentleman just really wants to macro hard on the second base. That's the only reason you would build those 2 turrets. Yeah, I think he's just going to go. Yeah, he's even going to sell those off. So maybe he was just worried about an attack coming in. Realizes, okay, my opponent's not coming in for an attack, but I'm worried for the gentleman here because, oh, okay, never mind. He has seen that tier 3. I believe last time I checked his vision he hadn't. But he did get that scout off, and he's moving in here with the ferrets. But this is not going to work in time. Like, Tosh is going to take some losses here, but that badger is going to get out. Badger's got maybe 25, 26 seconds until it's here. And now he's going to move in further. Nice positioning there of those turrets. As Shoofly kind of points out on the map, this is a really important attack path. You know, yeah, Tosh can run around this way, but it's pretty unlikely. It's definitely still an option, though, if he kind of decides, you know what, I'm never going to make it through all these turrets here from the gentleman up front. I feel like Tosh can definitely come around this way. And yeah, gentleman's already preempting that. I don't think he's going to invest too much over on the side. He's just going to throw down a couple turrets. Mainly to see, I feel like. Like, I think those turrets are mainly there to sound the alarms and allow Gentleman to get in position. But Gentleman's going to go for the base trade here. And Tosh is preempted that a little bit by throwing down his own Gristmill. But instead he's going to come home. I don't know if that's the right decision here, though, as the Gentleman's already got the damage done. Yeah, unfortunate for Tosh. He kind of hesitated there. It was a bit indecisive. And now he's going to come in and try to keep this going. Now he's got this campfire over here, so Gentleman is not just going to win the game outright. And I feel like Tosh might be able to win this base race if Gentleman is not aware of this campfire over to the side. Ooh, actually, Gentleman seems to indeed know about this, and yeah, that might be game. No, okay, that campfire gets up. But Tosh really doesn't have much of an army. Lizards are fantastic against the Badger. And that should be it. Gentleman takes the match. Pretty interesting game. Gentleman says he's using the style quite a lot recently, as he's seen, you know, Amari, Valeris have success with it, you know, kind of coined the jet style. But all right, guys, that is it for the show tonight. Yeah, Gentleman is surprised somebody submitted a win of him. It's kind of a running joke in the chat because Gentleman ladders so often, and he's such a good player. You know, if you play against a Gentleman on the ladder, you beat him, and you're like, oh, that's a great, you know, match for TnTTV. So we see Gentlemen pretty often lose games, and somebody actually submitted a loss against them, so really cool. So take care, everybody. I appreciate everyone tuning in, as always. I will see you guys on Thursday night. I was going to do a little bit of ranked streaming, but man, my throat is really sore, and I'm starving. I got to get something to eat, but my wife is playing a game Mishi recommended, an old Super Nintendo game called UN Squadron. So let's go say hi to her, man, and check that game out. And I will see all you beautiful nerds on Thursday night. Take care, everybody.